Are you wondering how you can tie Italian wedding traditions into your Italian wedding in a seamless and modern way? If so, this episode is for you. Ciao, I'm Lucy. I'm an Italian wedding planner and I'm also the founder of Lista.com. I'm here every week with an episode for Italian wedding planning couples. I'm here to make your Italian wedding planning easy and hassle-free. This week we're talking about Italian wedding traditions. It's a really nice way to bring Italy and authenticity into your wedding, but a lot of the traditions are a little bit old or they don't naturally or seamlessly fit in. But I've got some ideas of how to put these into your wedding in a really cool way. So an age-old tradition in Italy is to throw confetti, which is actually called petali, and the tradition is to throw rice at the bridal couple as they walk out of their ceremony. So actually, rice isn't that great to have thrown at you on your wedding day. It can go in your eyes, and we see pictures all the time of couples squinting anyway when confetti is thrown, let alone when it's unboiled rice in your eyes. It's a signal of good luck and it's a really nice thing to do. Perhaps you could sprinkle a little bit of rice in your confetti cones, but we actually really suggest just having confetti itself is probably a really nice thing to do and a nod to the Italian tradition. I always suggest that rose petals are really good for confetti. Now obviously they can be seen as expensive. They're not actually much more expensive than buying dried confetti, and if you get big fresh rose petals in quite a nice bright colour, they look a lot more impactful in your wedding photos. So just a tip for you there. Another tradition is wedding favours, which confusingly are called confetti in Italy. So confetti is traditionally given out towards the end of a wedding. You have glass bowls that are full of sugared almonds, which I always thought before I did this job were an English tradition, but actually covered sugared almonds are an Italian favour called confetti. You can get loads of different flavours, and often the almonds are covered in chocolate and then they have the hard shell, and they are delicious. You'll actually often find them on sale in the supermarket, and lots of pastry shops also sell them and specialise in confetti. Another tradition is literally the meal itself. Weddings are centred around food and being together and eating together. So even just having a really traditional Italian meal with a number of courses is a tradition in itself. One of the most important aspects of a wedding day, seen by Italians, is the wedding cake cutting and eating. So obviously it's normal all around the world to have a wedding cake and to cut it in front of your guests, but in Italy it's a massive deal. And if you don't have a wedding cake, caterers just simply don't understand why you would not have one. So having this moment where you cut the cake, maybe you have the cake built in front of your guests. It's really lovely. The cake, the traditional cake, the millefeuille, is amazing. It's potentially the best thing that you'll eat on your wedding day. And it's also tradition to sit down and eat the cake with everybody. Sometimes, because the dinner's quite late and the cake cutting is quite late, people want the cake to be served as a buffet. It works, guests still eat the cake, it gets consumed, it's really good so people don't miss it, but it is a tradition to sit back down and eat the cake, so maybe you could incorporate it as your dessert on your wedding day. A tradition that I love is that the groom actually pays for the wedding bouquet and gives it to the bride. So in some circumstances, maybe if you are having a first look, this would work really well. When you have your first look, your groom could actually give you your bouquet as well, which would be a gorgeous touch. I've seen this happen with one of my couples and it was truly wonderful. If that's not for you and you would rather see your groom for the first time when you are hitting the aisle, then perhaps they could just pay for the bouquet, but they could leave you a little note or something kind of with the bouquet or tied to the bouquet as a gift from them to you, and honour this tradition. A tradition that's a little bit unknown is to dance to a song that's called La Tarantula. It is an Italian wedding tradition to do so. If you haven't heard the song, give it a Google, have a little look at that. It's possible that your guests will wonder what is happening if that song comes on. So my suggestion would be to maybe include it because it really could be a lot of fun, but prepare some of your guests beforehand. So maybe your bridal party, you might tell them that you're going to play this certain song and when it comes on to do a certain dance with you so that you can celebrate and have this Italian aspect of your wedding. It would be great content for the photographer and the videographer to capture this moment as well. A tradition that I think you might love is that in Italy it's normal to have 2 wedding dresses, so any excuse, hey, to go and buy another dress. So typically you might change your outfit maybe just before the wedding dinner or after the dinner before you go to the party. It's really nice to have different looks on your day, and also it's possible that if you've got a more traditional wedding dress and you wear that at the start of your day, you're going to get quite hot. Potentially you're going to get a bit fed up of wearing it, and having that second outfit to change into to freshen up, and maybe it's a bit lighter and looser for dancing, would actually be a really good idea practically anyway. And the final tradition that I want to introduce you to is the breaking of the glass. So maybe a broken glass is inevitable at a wedding anyway, but let's make it intentional. So you and your groom could break a glass at a certain point in the day, maybe a little bit more into the day when the vibe has started to pick up a little bit towards the end of the dinner or the party, maybe as part of the cake cutting. This is a traditional thing to do, and it could be an interesting part of your day, and the likelihood is it would surprise your guests and probably stand out in their memory a little bit. So there's some of my favourite Italian wedding traditions and how to bring them into your Italian wedding in a bit more of a seamless and modern way. My mission is to reach as many couples as possible so they can fully enjoy their Italian wedding planning and have the most epic wedding ever. You can help me do this. If you've enjoyed this video and you found it useful, please leave me a comment below and subscribe to have more of our videos every single week. They will be full of useful, practical information with the pure intention of helping you have a great time planning your wedding. Remember, I'm always cheering you on in your wedding planning. You can come over to Instagram @_LaLista. You can DM us anytime. Me and my team are there and we'd love to help you with your planning. Have a great week and I'll see you next week.